Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Sarah Smith, and you're listening to Raw Intentions. All right, guys, we've got a very special episode. When do I not say that? When do I not say that an episode is not special? Because every episode we do is incredible, duh. But yeah, we really do have an amazing guest today, local Denver gal. And before we get into all of the things, just in case this is your first time listening, I thought I would give my little elevator pitch just to talk about myself, because obviously I have a podcast, so I love talking about myself, and just give you the 411. So like I said in the intro, my name is Sarah Smith, Sarah with an H, Smith with a Y. I'm from Madison, Alabama, and currently living in Breckenridge, Colorado. I am 30 years old. I went to Auburn University and graduated with a double major in Spanish and rehab disability studies. I was planning on doing bilingual occupational therapy. I was incredibly broke in college, as many of us without their parents' credit cards were, and started making jewelry just for myself and then for my friends and then for my coworkers at Texas Roadhouse as a waitress. And pretty soon what started as just this little way to make extra money for Red Bull vodkas at the bar snowballed and turned into a brand, a business, and is still my full-time job to this day, 8-9 years later. So it's called Raw and Rebellious. It's at raw_rebellious on Instagram. Definitely give us a follow if you don't already. And we did handmade jewelry. We did rings, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, all kinds of things. And now we don't do jewelry at all anymore. We do clothing, we do hats, we do prints, shoes, meetups, pop-ups, events. And we have a whole ski collection now, which as a girl from Alabama is pretty freaking random. I do influencing. I have this podcast, a YouTube channel. I host retreats now internationally, which is really exciting. There's been a lot of things that I've been getting my hands into over the last almost decade. And this podcast is one of them, almost 3 years old this year. I started Raw Intentions just as a way to really connect to our community. That's definitely been the part that I've been the most proud of with owning Raw and Rebellious, has been the people that support us, that follow us, that I get to chat to via DMs every single day and call my friends, my internet friends. It was just a lifeline to that community. I wanted to have really raw, intentional, authentic conversations with y'all, with other people, and have guests on, talk about my own life experiences, and do solo episodes. We've got all kinds of stuff for you guys, and we've been doing it for a while, so it's been a ton of fun. And that leads us to our very special guest today. Today we've got Caroline Hafele. She is a local hat maker in Denver, Colorado, and the founder of Gem Hats, which now has a beautiful shop located over by Occidental on 32nd Street. If you know, you know, if you live in Denver. But Caroline and I got connected through mutual friends. It's so fun in Denver. I feel like the entrepreneurial and the creative world is just getting smaller by the day, and getting to meet so many amazing people through other amazing friends that I have has been really special, and one of my favorite things about having this podcast. But Caroline and I get into it today. We talk about her life before her brand and how she started traveling the world right after college and why she did that and everything that she learned, including a whole ass language along the way, and how it shaped her decisions and kind of her path forward into creating her own hats and becoming a artisan hat maker. I mean, it is such a cool story, and the way that she's created her brand to really culminate everything that she's about and that she's lived through. I loved her story so much. I love her brand. I love her messaging and the why behind why she started Gem Hats and the gap that she's filling in this ever growing market. So it's really cool having these conversations. You guys are going to love Caroline as much as I do. So without further ado, let's welcome Caroline Hafele to Raw Intentions podcast. We're ready and
Okay.
go.
Yeah, so about me?
Yes, everything about you.
Yeah.
Just like a little background
Yeah.
before we dive in.
Yeah, so my name is Caroline. I'm the owner of Gem Hats. We are a custom hat creation and design company, and we make all different types of hats.
Yeah, like the one you're wearing.
Like
If
the one
you're
I'm
watching on
wearing.
YouTube.
Yeah. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky originally, and moved to Denver during COVID. And yeah, I've had a lot of jobs. I've lived in a lot of places. And Denver is now my home. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So take us back a little bit, because when I was doing my stalking, I read some articles and you were talking about kind of living all over the place and helping entrepreneurs and traveling kind of for your job.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to talk about that. And also, where'd you go to school? Did you study?
Yeah, so I
Anything
went to
relevant?
College of Charleston for undergrad
Oh, cool.
and studied international business.
Nice.
And then-
Well, that makes sense.
Yep. and I got my MBA at Thunderbird, which is a school of global management. So that was like very pivotal in my international kind of travels as well. In my 20s, I lived in 8 other countries.
Wow. Over the span of how long?
Over the span of
Like all your 20s?
9 years. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I moved to Spain when I was 21.
Okay.
After I graduated from college.
Okay.
And then
did you grow up traveling? Like, was that something that you've always done?
Not like that.
Okay.
I became like, my dad traveled a lot for work, and I was always like very fascinated with other cultures. And we traveled, but not, we have a big family, so we didn't go like on crazy trips. But yeah, I just like got really, really interested in the international and like learning from other cultures. And yeah, when I graduated, I didn't speak any other language, and so I was like, well, I've got to move somewhere and learn a language, and so I moved to Spain.
Okay, so that was something that was a priority for you? Like, you knew you wanted to be at least like bilingual?
Yes, for sure, always.
Okay,
and I'm so glad I did it. It's like such a big part of who I am, and it's a really big part of my business too today.
Totally.
So, yeah,
kind of in like unexpected ways.
In so many different, all the different paths that you take to get to where you are.
So how was that? I mean, you were so young moving to another country. I mean, like your 20s are such a weird time as it is. I'm sure bopping around, and not only were you like figuring out who you were, but then experiencing all these different places and cultures and kind of like starting fresh a lot.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I loved it. Yeah, I went to Spain without knowing the language. I didn't know anybody. And yeah, it was a very just new experience for me. So I'm a twin.
Oh, okay.
And then I have younger sisters who are twins.
Because you have 3 other sisters, right?
So there's 4 of us, and then we have 3 stepsisters and 3 stepbrothers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So big family.
Yeah.
But with the whole twin life, like like we're pretty codependent. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of like my twin always says that I left her.
Oh, yeah.
We're like super close. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think like part of it had to do something with that. Like I just like wanted to kind of like continue to discover who I was as an individual, and not so much as like as the unit. So I loved it. And then went back to school after Spain, and in school I met like so many people from, I think I was one of 5 girls in our class, and it was a class of 100 people.
Wow.
And it was like maybe 20 people from the US, and everybody else was from all over. Yeah, I got to live in a couple different places with that and work for a couple different companies. Like I worked for a cheese company in Bogota, Colombia.
Wow.
Which was wild.
So were you going to all Spanish speaking places?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
No, actually. One of them I studied in Czech Republic for a while.
Okay.
So I was there for like 6 months.
Okay.
And then for work later, I lived in Amman in Jordan.
Oh, wow.
Where I tried to learn Arabic as well.
Wow, how did that go?
It was so hard.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Like, and I was speaking it by the end. I didn't ever learn to write and read, but like having conversation, like basic conversations, I was in the Habibi
Well, there's
world.
so many different levels to that too. I'm Jewish, and so growing up, I had to learn Hebrew for my bat mitzvah, and I never learned how to speak it. I only learned how to like read it.
Yeah.
And like speak it out loud, like just from reading it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many like different symbols and vowels and like totally new rules. So it's like
completely
a whole new
different.
ballgame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Do you ever use that?
No. Anytime I've been to Israel, I come back and I'm like downloading Duolingo and like trying to get back into it. But I've kind of lost it. I majored in Spanish.
Okay.
So before I started my business, my plan was when I graduated, I was going to go to Spain and bartend for a couple of years because I was going to go to grad school for bilingual occupational therapy. Okay. At MUSC actually in Charleston.
Okay.
So yeah, I studied abroad and like lived with the family and stuff in college and like got super fluent. And then because I took it like all through growing up, and then started my jewelry business my senior year, and so it like took off that summer and like when I graduated. So I traveled a bunch, but I didn't end up like getting to go live there like I had planned. But I had a bunch of friends that were doing like, they were like teaching English in schools and like living over there just from like my major. Yeah. And that was always, have you ever read The Midnight Library? Have you ever heard of that?
No. I don't think so.
It's like a book about essentially like all the paths your life can take. Because when you think back on your life, like if you had made a different decision here or there, like it could have been totally different. Yep. And like the path that I thought I was going to take of like living abroad and maybe even like staying over there. My dad's from Northern Ireland. So that was always something that I kind of thought that I would do was like live abroad for a really long time, or maybe even like stay over there for an extended amount of time and hopefully find like a Spanish boyfriend or something that just like keeps me over there. But it's funny because I remember I was so happy with my life at the time and like running my own business, but I was also like so new to everything. And I was like, part of me was really sad because I really had wanted to live in Spain and didn't get the chance to do that for the extended amount of time that I wanted to. But Spanish is such a beautiful language. I mean, I don't use it as much as I wish I did, and I've lost so much fluency. But whenever I go to Mexico and like, or back to Spain and have a couple of tequila drinks, I'm like,
you're right back in it.
Totally, which is cool. And I think languages are just so important too. You learn so much about like a culture and like the history and the like linguistics and phonetics of it. It's fascinating. Like if I always want to be doing something. Yeah. And I always think about like if I had more time, like all the things that I would do, like if I was like a trust fund baby or something and could just like not work and do whatever I wanted, I would study and I would like to know like 3 or 4 different languages, I think. Like I love languages so much.
Yeah. I always say if I had a superpower, it would be to speak every language.
That's mine too. No way. I swear to God. Always. Yes.
Everyone always looks at me like, what?
They're like, you don't want to fly or
like
be invisible?
All the superpowers?
I'm like, no. I want to know every single language and understand every.
Yep. And be able to communicate with anyone.
Yeah. Like how cool is that?
Hey.
Yeah, okay. I love that. I know you already have a twin, but
that makes me really happy.
Yes, no, same. I think that's so cool. I mean, and like as you're talking about this to me, I'm like, oh, like that was like my alternate universe. Like that was what I thought that maybe I would do is like, because my parents are super into traveling and stuff. Yeah. So I always grew up with that being fairly normal or just like pushing me to like solo travel and like do all this stuff that like maybe was a little out of the norm. I'm from Alabama. So like a lot of my friends hadn't even been on a plane. Yep. And yeah, it's just always been something that I've been so passionate about. So it's cool that you're able to like make a career out of that and do that in your 20s.
I did a lot of odd jobs.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of, but I always worked.
Yeah.
Like I always had, I had to. Right?
Totally.
Like, I always had something. Yeah. The only time that I actually, when I moved back to Spain at one point and I left my job in the US and went to Spain to find a new job there. And so I had like a few months where I was just like interviewing and all of that. And then I got a job there and then they sent me to Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
So it was always with a like certain level of responsibility, but like continuing to want to. I mean, at one point I was like considering moving to Estonia because they can get you like your EU passport and I don't know, like just always like at one point I also had a job offer in Malaysia.
Oh my, I'm going to Malaysia next month.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah, I've never been.
Yeah.
My mom was like, why?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You're like, oh yeah, maybe you're right.
I don't know. I just like have the bug. I just want to explore.
Oh, the bug it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
I almost wish I didn't have it. It's like exhausting sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all the things you want to see.
Yeah. But I feel really lucky that I've got to do all of those things,
yeah,
you know, like,
for sure.
Because I do have like, now that I'm getting a little older, I'm like, okay, I can be like happy knowing that like I have explored so much and like
totally
I can slow down a little bit with, you know, all the changes coming. So.
I know that's kind of like something I almost look forward to with like quote unquote settling or like settling down. And I don't think my definition will be the same as maybe some people's, but I feel so content with what my life up until this point. Like I just turned 30 and I feel like I've lived so fully and like traveled so much and I still live with 5 girls in a mountain town. Like most of my friends from home are already like married with kids by now, which is an amazing path. And like, I hope to do that someday, but I'm happy that I've kind of pushed it down the road and continue to do so because I think then by the time that I do hopefully have kids and like get married and all of that, I'll feel like so much more planted where I am.
Yep.
And I'll always want to do stuff. I'll always want to travel. And I know that, but it won't be this like itch that's like taking over my body and soul because I'll actually have like followed that itch when I like didn't need a schedule or sleep at all, or I would just like sleep in airports and like in train stations when I didn't give a shit. Like now I give a shit. I like my morning routine and I like my routine a little too much and I sleep a little too much. That it's harder for me to. I still do deviate, but it's harder for me to do so.
Yeah, no, it gets harder as you get older.
It does, and we're not old. Like we're still so young, but it just your mindset changes of like your checks and balances and like what's more important to you. I think.
Yeah, like sharing. Do I want to share a room with 12? People
totally
not really
in a mixed dorm hostel. Yeah, exactly.
But like, you know, I used to do that all the time.
Totally. I'll still be doing that this year. It's just so funny. But so do you think, you know, through all your travels and the odd jobs that you've had, are there things that you've taken away from that, like both life experiences and through those jobs like that you're applying now, like with your company?
Yeah.
And we'll get into Mexico and stuff too. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that something I really learned a lot in Mexico as well is just kind of like the work-life balance that we and maybe in the US don't always have. Every job that I've had in the US, it's been very like just so intense. And like a lot of that has to do with me and my personality, right? And like diving fully into whatever it is that I'm like dedicated to. But the balance is like not always there. And so with starting this company, that was really one of my biggest goals is like, I want to, one, do something that I love and like be happy with what I'm doing. But at the same time, like still have a life and still be able to, you know, relax and take care of myself and be with my family and be with my dog and my friends. And like, you can do both of those things. And I think that a lot of other cultures are like, put other things above work more than we do.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, in Spain, what's it called? Oh, siesta, like in the afternoon. And like people and they like sit at their meals for hours on end, like during lunch and just like everything's slower and it's more relaxed. Yes. And I always feel that way. And that's one thing I love about traveling is disrupting my routine and like going over and seeing what other people value and what's important to them. Yep. Because it's so easy, especially when you own your own business, to get caught up in all of this. And I'm super guilty of that. Like I'm so go. Yeah. That sometimes I just stress myself out for no reason. And I have to like take a step back and be like, are these things even important to me? Like all these things that I'm like forcing myself to do every single day. Does it like feed back into like my pillars and my goals and like how I want to live my life? Yeah. And other cultures do such a better job. They do. Of that. Yep. And it's hard to, especially as a business owner, it's hard to not get caught up in it and totally continue to go. But I do every time I was actually in Mexico last week and it's just so refreshing. Yeah. Like it's just such I was meeting with our weavers and just such a like different pace and just like, you know, and that's great. And it's celebrated. And and, you know, if we're, you know, 2 hours behind for our meeting time, like it's not the end of the world. Totally. And like, we'll make another time work. And I don't know. It's just a lot more, chill. Mm-hmm. No, which is nice. It's a good foundation. Reminder. Yeah. And it's a good foundation. Like you said, like the meeting's 2 hours late, like no one's going to die. Yeah. It's totally fine. Yep. Like if everything's pushed a little bit, it's totally fine. I think that's something that I'm working on in my own life right now is because boundaries are so much more important to me than they used to be as an entrepreneur. Because I used to just be able to like burn the midnight oil and like not sleep or care about anything. Yep, get that. And totally. And now and like too, as I'm moving into my 30s and like I would like to have a family someday and have this life. I'm trying to set things up for myself so that my goal is to like work less. Like I don't want to be working as much as I do. Yep. And I can see an expiration date on that for like my own sanity. Yeah. Like I can't go on like this. So I'm trying to figure out ways to get help in ways that make sense. Yeah. So that I can just like live my life more fully on my own terms. Yep. And have like the work kind of done for me, like we were talking about earlier with pop-ups and all the things, you know? And a lot of that is practice too. And like letting go a little bit of the control side of things. Like, I don't know, at least for me, like it's totally like being able to find somebody to help and trust in that person to take over that. And what I found, especially in the past years, a lot of times they'll do it even better. Absolutely. It's like, which is crazy. This is great. Yeah. Because it's your baby. And with the pop-ups, that was something that was so scary to me. He was hiring someone else. And my boyfriend was like, it's your business. So you're going to like be obsessed with the product and care and all the things. But like having someone represent you that also is obsessed with it and maybe like a more relatable way because they don't own the company. Yep. Like could sometimes translate even better. Yep. Because they're so into it. And people are like, oh, well, like if this person really loves it, then maybe I will too kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. And then they can like sell it. Like, you know, it's also sometimes hard to sell yourself in that way. And like the having somebody else and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then having somebody else to do it. You're like, wait, wow. This is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll get there. I know. I'm hoping. It's a journey. I know it is. Yeah. I'm in it for the long haul though. So I'm down to take the baby steps. It's been for sure. It's been a long time. Yeah. But with Mexico, so was that your last stop on like this crazy career in your 20s where you were like kind of hopping around and like helping? Was that what you were doing? Were you helping other businesses as you went? Yes, mostly. So I worked in the startup space, mostly like in the tech side. In Mexico, I worked for a fashion tech company, in a hotel tech company, and then that was a Spanish company, that one. And then before that, I worked for a nonprofit called Endeavor that helps entrepreneurs around the world scale. And so that's where I got to travel a lot. There's actually an office in Denver too. Oh, nice. Yeah, one of my friends who I worked with there opened it. Oh, cool. But yeah, it was a great organization. I got to learn so much too from all of these entrepreneurs because it was like
people doing like at least 2 million in revenue and annually and looking to really like take it to the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to work with all these people that were like already established,
Right.
but like really looking to grow. And then when I moved here, I worked for a company called Entrepreneurship for All, which is a nonprofit that helps small businesses become established.
Oh, cool.
So I got to see like both sides of those things.
At like every stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of
cool.
Yeah. Which is like so many different, I mean, there's just like so many different things you need to know at each stage and like different ways to go about it. And the people that I was working with here, it was for underrepresented communities. So we ran a business accelerator program in English and in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So I was the director of that nonprofit. So I was running like both English and Spanish programs, recruiting mentors, like recruiting entrepreneurs for it. And it was awesome. It was a lot.
I'm sure.
I worked that was when I was like, I need balance.
Yeah.
Because I was working from like 8
8
a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I was teaching classes like from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
What kind of classes are you teaching?
Like
business. Through the nonprofit?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I was teaching in English and in Spanish.
Wow.
So it was like, my brain was just like,
at the end of the day.
I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But that being said, it was like the most rewarding job ever. And like seeing all these people who were, you know, English wasn't their first language. They didn't have the social networks. They didn't have the financing, like any, like just barriers to getting started, seeing them like cross those and follow their dreams. I was like, wait, I'm going to do this for my company, for what I love to do and because I was already hatting and doing that on the side.
Okay.
And
you're doing that on the side while... What side?
Yeah, the side. It was it was not sustainable.
12 a.m. to like 2 a.m. side.
It was really weekends.
Weekends, yeah.
It was.
That is not a single day
not
off.
Good. Yeah, I was I was not well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so took some time.
Yeah,
and then found the retail space and launched Gem.
Well, we got to step back though because Mexico was where you kind of got the glimpse into like the hat world, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. So working for the fashion tech company, I was like, that was my first time ever working in this kind of in the industry.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends there like designed a hat for one of our buddies for his birthday. And she was like, yeah, like this is where I get the hats and this is how I do it. And she kind of showed me. And then I just started like researching things. And so my whole idea originally was, because my plan was to stay in Mexico City for a while. Okay. I loved it.
I've heard such good things about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like one of my favorite places ever. Like if I would move back there. Yeah. For sure. But then COVID happened. So my plan was to launch a company in Mexico and sell to the US.
Oh, okay. Like wholesale?
Yes. Okay. Or my sisters who also lived in Denver, and one of them still does. I was going to have them like sell for me here.
Oh, okay.
And like me do the production side.
Okay.
Yeah. Then COVID happened. And so I flew back home and hadn't left my job. Like I was in like, it was, COVID.
Totally.
Full panic.
Yeah. I was making an OnlyFans. Yeah. I was like, no one knew what was happening. Yeah.
I was like, so then I didn't have my like supplier down the street. So then I started making hats by hand.
And at this point, did you know kind of how to do that, or did you have to?
I learned a lot by myself YouTube in my mom's basement.
Yeah,
lots of like books from like the 1800s. Like,
I mean, it's such an old art, right?
It's a very old secretive trade.
Yeah,
and just like getting the right tools and all the things.
Secretive trade, how? Like now you think it is, or back then you think it is?
I think it still is. I think that people are very
like gatekeepy.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. There are more people that will like that have like how to make hat classes and stuff. And people ask us if we do those workshops all the time. And we don't, because it like just the amount of resources and supplies that you have to have is a lot. Yeah. And it takes a long time. Yeah. Like it's not just like a 3-hour workshop. Like it's a multi-day thing to make a hat.
Right.
So, and to like learn the whole process. And
don't you think though, sometimes I love this when people, if I'm at a pop-up and they're like, do you have this hoodie in like red? And I'm like, no, like there's like minimums and like order quantities. Like there's so much that goes into things. And I kind of love when people ask questions like that. Same with like, can you do a hat workshop? Or like they think it's like for a few hours, because it just shows you like I know something that is so valuable and that it like, even though it's so obvious to you at this point because you've been doing it for so long, like it's not obvious to other people. Yeah. And I kind of love that. Yeah. You know, it's like an art.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I love that you say it that way because it used to get me so frustrated.
I'm sure. And like, no, I mean,
but now I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, just simple.
Well, because I used to take it as people like minimizing my work and like my life and everything that I do and spend hours and hours doing. And it used to really piss me off. And then I was like, wait, they have no understanding of this. Like, I never have to worry about like someone trying to like steal what I'm doing because there's no way they will put in the work if they think that I can. Wait, can you just like go print out another hoodie? I'm like, no. Or like I used to do handmade jewelry. Like, can you just do this or make this? I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, you can't. You have to learn to say no.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
And that's hard too.
Yeah, like, it is.
Getting to that point.
It is, for sure.
But it feels so good when you
it does.
Get there.
I'm like, nope. It's next.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, it's a big step. For sure.
So working in your mom's basement and figuring all that out.
Yep. And then
and was this during COVID still?
Were here. Yep. Okay. This was May of 2020.
Oh, okay. So we're deep in it.
Yeah, that was May, like early May. And my partner, who we have had a very long history of on and off, he was like, I'm moving to Denver. I'm going back to school there. And I was like, well, my sisters are there and I don't want to be in Kentucky right now. And I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. So I'm going to go too.
Yeah.
So I drove across the country with my twin sister. And I just like started making hats in my sister's house. And then I was like, at that point, I started looking for jobs and stuff. And because I was like, I did have like, I set up a studio and stuff in my house, but I just wasn't at the point where I felt confident enough to go full time with it. And I also didn't have the resources, like financially.
When you say you had set up a studio, were you selling these hats?
Yeah, I started selling them out of my attic in my first house in Denver.
No way.
Yeah.
How like, in what medium? Like pop-ups or like social media?
Word of mouth.
Wow.
Fully. Yeah. Just like, I just started making them for my friends and then like my family, my sisters. Yeah. And then they started telling their friends. And so all of a sudden I was like running. My sisters say it was a sweatshop because it was really hot up there. And I was steaming and blocking hats.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
I have to see some old photos of this.
I have some on the,
yeah.
It's been cracking me up looking back at it. I'm like, that was a hot time.
And that was 2021, I guess?
That was 2020 to 2021.
I mean, that's insane, though, that it was that recent kind of, and now look where you are. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you were doing it on the side, and this was at the time that you were working at the nonprofit.
Yeah. So I started working at that nonprofit in the beginning of 2021.
Okay.
I worked there until beginning of 2023.
Okay.
And was doing the hats on the side. At one point I like stopped because I couldn't do it all. Mm-hmm. And got back into it once I left that job because I just like didn't have the capacity to do both.
Yeah. Did you were you loving making the hats? Was it like a creative outlet for you or was it like a pain in the ass or how did you feel about it at the time?
So I have always like fully loved it. And then, but I did have a time. So my partner and I got pregnant and then we lost the baby.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
So no, it's okay. But it was like this whole journey of like, I became like really depressed from it all. Yeah. And suddenly I hated hats.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I think something had to do like, I don't know, with the studio is supposed to be the nursery. And it was just like this whole mind fuck, honestly.
Totally.
I kind of like stopped it. And then one of my younger sisters got married and she asked me to do hats for her and her wife and the 23 people in their wedding.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so glad she did that because it like reinvigorated my
kind
love.
Of forced you to get back into it.
And then by that time it was like 6 months later and I had like done a lot of therapy, a lot of work and it was like getting a lot better, you know? And then ever since then I've been fully obsessed. It's like, I mean, I dream about hats all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like almost to the point where it's annoying. It's like, okay.
You never get tired of them.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
And then you quit your nonprofit. And was that when you tried to go full time or was this after your sister's wedding that you?
My sister got married in October 23 or 22. And then I left my full-time job in January of 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did that feel like a leap to you, or were you just like,
It was.
fuck this, I'm ready? Yeah.
Yeah. It was a big leap. It did take some time, but then I started doing markets again, and I did like a big pop-up at the Kentucky Derby at home.
Oh, I bet that was
which
amazing.
was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just like kind of restarted building things back up, and it just kind of gave me the like confidence and encouragement to like, hey, I can actually like, I can really do this. I can make this work, and I don't have to go back and find another full-time job. Like this is going to be it, you know?
Were you giving yourself like a certain amount of time to like make it work? Or did you have any goals in mind at the time of like to try to reason with yourself, I guess? Because I mean, that is terrifying.
Yeah, I kind of had until August of 23 because that was when my lease was up for my house.
Okay.
And it was either like, I'm going to take my dog and move back to Mexico or move somewhere, or because like my partner and I, amidst the
on and off.
Amidst the on and off, we were off. And then I found the studio. I was like looking for retail spaces, and I just was like, I can't afford this.
Because you need a lot of space for the hots,
You need
right?
a ton of space. Yeah. And then like with the hot bar concept, like you need space to host people.
Right.
So yeah, I magically, serendipitously found the space and came up in beginning of August, and I went and saw it immediately. And so I got this retail space that's commercially zoned, and I moved in and set up a shop where I live.
I mean, was that like such a crazy moment for you? Like,
yeah,
that's
a
so
huge
commitment.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this. Like, I remember when I graduated college, for me, I bought this like big printer. It was like $400. And I'd been doing it out of my parents' house until I moved to Atlanta after school. And that was a moment that I was like, oh my God, I'm like really investing in this for the first time. Like, this isn't just like a little thing that I'm doing to make extra money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that was terrifying.
Yeah. So scary.
Yeah.
I even had I think my mom co-signed it.
Yeah.
Because I like didn't have enough to like prove
that,
or like sales to prove. Yeah. Like all the things. It was like, really, my mom co-signed.
Thanks, Mom.
Now, at this point, I'm like, that was 23. So I was turning 33. Like my mom's co-signed this lease for me to live in the store.
I mean, dude, you gotta bootstrap it. That's just how it is. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to look back on. And going from doing it out of your house and out of a basement and out of an attic and out of your little mini sweatshop, how did you even know how to conceptualize a store? Had you seen other hat bars, or had you like just dreamt about this and you're like, this is exactly what I want? It's a huge shift. And like knowing how to like manage employees and like a retail space. I mean, that's a lot. You're making it sound very chill, but it's like a lot to take on.
Yeah, no, I think from like the concept side, I learned so much from all of those markets and like even just working with customers out of my house.
Yeah.
And like the whole like custom experience was really special to me. And that was something that I like really wanted to continue on. I think that just like solidified over time, you know? And then in terms of the store and like layout and stuff, I walked into this place and I was like, it was just like came together, and it was just like such a crazy moment.
You could
like,
picture it all.
I could just picture it all. I found the hat bar that we have in there. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and it's like this like beautiful like long wooden table with like big industrial pipes and stuff. Like, I don't know, just like put it all together, and by this point my partner and back together.
Oh hell yeah, we're back.
He's in construction, so he's like
great timing.
Yes. He's very, very handy in those things. He's also like very good at interior design stuff, so he helps me a lot.
Oh, that's so nice.
Which is great. Yeah.
So then you had to like build your team, right?
Yeah.
Like, were you just doing this by yourself for a while, or?
So for the first few months, I had a client who was my first hire, and she
client like from your nonprofit?
No, from like a customer from the shop.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Wow,
yeah.
Cool.
So when we were making her hat, she was like, "Do you need any help?" And I was like, "Yeah,
yeah, always,
of course."
Yeah.
And so she started working at Gem, and we're like such great friends now. And so it was just her and I for a while. She was working full time, so like she was just helping mostly with like events and stuff, and then like busy days at the store. But things were not super busy the first few months.
Yeah,
like I was still like getting things set up and getting like trying to figure out ways to get the word out. It really wasn't until I met Bree with Chatter Club that like things really took off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, like, how do you go about getting the word out in a retail space?
Yeah. And we're on the second floor too.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, we always say it's like a speakeasy hat bar. Now that we like are on the map and everything, like we do get walk-ins all the time. But it did take some time to like establish that. And really social media has been huge with Chatter Club has been like instrumental in our growth of getting the word out. Word of mouth is also still so big.
Right. And just like natural advertising of like, where'd you get your hat?
Yes.
When you're wearing it out.
Yep. My sisters and my friends are all like set. I mean, Bree's a huge.
Totally. Well, that's how I heard about you is through Bree.
Yeah.
And bragging about you.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
She's so sweet.
But that's the kind of people you want to work with that like believe in the product and what you're doing and understand that it's more than just a product.
Yeah.
Because when I was reading online, I mean, you talked about like where you source your hats and like the meaning behind the name. I'd love for you to talk about that a little bit too. Because there are hat businesses out there, but I feel like yours is very unique.
Thank you.
And just like the story behind it and kind of like we were talking about with podcasting and anything, like everyone has a unique POV and a unique story. And so you've kind of brought all of your life experiences, it seems like, and like your family into your business.
All into one.
Yeah.
So Gem is actually short for Gemela, which is twin in Spanish. And then it's like the play on words, right? So it's also Gem and in terms of a one-of-a-kind, unique offering. And so a couple different things about how we're set up. So one is now we do source all of our hat bases from Mexico.
Oh, cool.
So like the wool felt and the suede and the straws, we work with different families from different areas and who live in different areas in Mexico. So we source those, and then the design process we do all here in Denver. And for the design process, we use upcycled materials for designs.
Oh, cool.
So we do like upcycled silks. We partner with a local leather company that gives us their scraps that we then turn into hat bands, like everything that we do like vintage charms and like pendants and things. Sometimes people will bring in their anything like sentimental.
Oh, to like work into items. The hat.
Yeah,
cool.
So every single
sustainability.
Hat. Yes, the sustainability aspect and the unique aspect.
Yeah.
So it's like the gem, like one of a kind.
Cool.
Kind of
that's so layered.
Yeah.
And getting to work with
a lot of layers.
Totally. And getting to work with other like families and stuff in Mexico. Did you make those connections when you were living there, or how did
one of them? Yes. And then the rest has been since I moved here and then just traveling back. It's been a journey. So last week I went to visit family that I've been working with in Campeche, which is like right next to the Yucatan.
Okay.
And I've been working with them for 4 years now.
Wow.
And it was crazy to be like, I hadn't been there.
You've never been there?
Well, I hadn't been there in 4 years.
Oh.
Like since I met them the first time.
Okay.
Like we've been working together for 4 years and like I know about their whole family, like we're one of 7 of their clients. Okay. So like it's very small.
Yeah.
Like, they weave these hats in caves and they're like in their homes. Like it's a whole I'll show you photos.
I want to see. Yeah.
It's like such an art. It's so beautiful. But even just seeing them, like, I don't know, it's just so nice to be able to have these connections.
Yeah.
And being able to do so in person makes such a big difference.
And was that all built on each other? Like, did you start knowing like, okay, I want to source them from Mexico from these families. I want to have like sustainable like decorations on the hats. Or was that something that just kind of came about as you went?
Yeah, no, that has always been part of it. So when I was working for that fashion tech company, so that was kind of like the Real, but for Latin America.
Okay.
So it's luxury consignment.
Yeah.
So I was running the sourcing department there and we were getting all of these pieces, but that we couldn't resell because of like a defect or something. And then we would have all these like big donation piles, but like wasn't really sure where it was going. And it was like really amazing fabrics.
Yeah.
And so I started using some of those to design the hats.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. So
that's
that was
so
like
resourceful.
Always part of it because there's just so much fabric. And I just like hated seeing these things go to waste. You know? Yeah.
That's so cool though. Like all the odd jobs.
So many odd. I know. It's
have
weird.
like all kind of built on each other. Yeah. I mean, in every aspect.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to explain.
Totally.
In, like,
Well, but then you probably like say something and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that was from so-and-so. Like you forget about all the experiences that you've had.
For sure. Yeah.
So now, with you growing and stuff and you have this whole team now, you've got how many people working for you?
So there are almost 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm sure your, tasks and things that you do on the day-to-day have changed. And
For
I don't know,
sure.
are you still making hats or are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope that I'm always making hats.
Yeah. That's what you love.
Yeah. It's crazy how
Mm.
much joy it brings me. It,
Mhm.
it is just like the creative outlet side.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You just
it's
get in your
crazy
flow
because it
state.
just doesn't get old. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's just so many different ways you can do it and so
Right.
many different materials and things that I still learn like every day.
I was
you
going to
know?
say, I bet you're still learning a
Yeah.
lot, like as you do them.
Yeah.
Like in your craft.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And then I also learned from my girls. Like
Yeah.
my team they all have such unique talents. Like one of them is a jeweler. And
Oh, cool.
so she's been making jewelry hat bands and she's selling them in the store as well.
Cool.
Which is awesome. And one of them owns a swimsuit company, is just about to launch the brand. And so she's like taught me a lot about just like fashion trends, and like she's very like fashion forward.
On the pulse, yeah.
Like things that I like, not working in fashion that extensively, like
Right.
hadn't really thought of.
Mhm.
And like my team is just, they're awesome, all of them.
Do you feel like you've tried to hire for like your weaknesses or like more just additions to things that you're already doing? Like what are the roles that they all?
Yeah, a
hold?
little bit of both. So one of them is she's actually about to be the full-time manager.
Oh, cool.
Starting May 1st.
That's exciting.
And so she's my first full-time hire.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting. So she'll be like managing the store, managing the team, schedules, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest are all retail associates. So
Okay.
So they run the store, run appointments, and then they also help with events that we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because events are a pretty big part of your business, right?
They are, yeah. So in-store events, and then we just relaunched offsite events this year.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've just got a million things going on all at once.
Yes.
And then what about the social media? Is that something that you handle or do you have?
Chatter Club.
Okay.
runs
So,
our
do they
social.
do everything?
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
To outsource that. Because I feel like as a business owner, I mean, I get burnt out on that all the time.
Oh, it's the best
social media,
to have them run it. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's so many ideas and things that you have on the go, right? But like to spend the time to like make a reel and
to sit down in the midst of like everything
Yes.
else that you're doing
it's
is
always
insane.
on the back burner.
Yes.
And then it ends up not getting done.
Right.
And like one from just like an execution perspective, but also from a strategy side, like it's really, really nice to have someone that is, not necessarily working in the shop day to day, but really understands our product and our experience and like what we're providing and our customers, like understanding our customer segments, profiles, all the things, and being able to like put something together that is speaking to our community.
Yeah.
It's been so great.
Well, and then seeing the
Best
growth from
investment ever.
that.
Yeah.
It's so cool. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, that is how you grow. It's like a viral video and then all of a sudden like you've got all these people coming in.
Yep. And then we have appointments and
Mm-hmm.
fully booked out and private events coming in and all the things. So
Do you feel like it's more people visiting or people in Denver that come or a little bit of both?
a little bit of both. Yeah. We get a lot of locals. I've met more people that are actually from Denver
Oh, cool.
than I ever did before.
Uh-huh.
With the store, which is great. And yeah, then we get people that are coming to visit. They want to get their Colorado hat. And sometimes they'll come like on their way to the mountains or on their way back. And yeah, which is always really fun too.
Mm-hmm.
We burn a lot of mountains into hats.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, which also never gets old, surprisingly,
Totally.
because it's the mountains and I love them. And,
Yeah. And you get to stare at them, from afar.
and every time it's, a different little drawing. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the experience? I mean, you said that, the experience is such a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so many people that come in, maybe they're like with a friend and they're like, oh, like I can never wear a hat like that. Like, because it is such like a bold
Yes.
piece and there's so many different ways you could go about it.
Yeah.
So what would you say is unique about your experience and like what you provide?
Yeah. So biggest thing, like one of our biggest things is comfort, because I don't know if you've ever had an uncomfortable hat?
I have an uncomfortable hat.
Yeah.
It was really expensive.
Yeah.
It was hobby when I first moved to Colorado.
We get a lot
and I never
of
wear
those
it
in the store.
It's so small on my head. It like gives me a headache every time I wear it.
You should bring it in. We'll fix it.
I will.
We'll try to fix it.
But I just need a new hat. I'm just going to come in and get a new hat. So.
We can do that too.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I'm excited for you to try yours on.
Yes.
Because we use a sweatband it's elastic. And so it makes for a much more comfortable fit.
Okay.
And it also adheres to different head shapes. Sorry, I keep touching that.
Oh, it's okay.
Head shapes and sizes.
Okay.
And so...
So it kind of like molds a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like it's kind of like a glove on your head, but like not in a pressing tight way. Like it doesn't give you a headache.
Well, I think that's what makes me not wear hats really, is because I always get, it's like pressing on me.
Yeah.
And I take it off and I have these like massive lines on my forehead and I'm like dizzy. I have like a headache because it's like cutting off my circulation. Yeah. And I guess it is, I've never even thought about it not being like that though. I just assumed that was part of it.
That's how it is. Yeah. No, it's like, it makes such a big difference. And so much so that like, I used to not wear hats before until I tried these on in Mexico and it was like, this is such a big difference.
Yeah.
Like, and so that I learned that there. Like that was a really big like turning point in terms of the product. And then the experience itself is we really try to make it like a very one-on-one type of journey. And so like you come in and all of my team is really trained in what materials we have, depending on where you live and what you do and what you're looking to wear it to, even just like colors and styles. So there's certain shapes that are better for certain face shapes.
Oh, cool.
So really trying to like, one, find the thing that's most comfortable for you so you'll wear it. And then two, like what goes best with your look and your style. And so we shape the hats, we trim the hats. It's not just like off the shelf.
Right.
Like it is like
totally
a
custom.
full, yeah. And so, but we do have those like set sizes is the only thing that's different with like other, yeah. Whereas like some of the like newer hat bars that are popping up and stuff are like, it's just big, like hats from big brands. Right. And like, that's how it is. And then you design it.
Right.
Whereas
like
this
totally
is like
custom from start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. And then from there, then you pick your bands from our selection of the upcycled materials and we spend time with like we have people try on different options in between because it always looks different once it's on your head.
Totally.
Like sometimes even today I'll design a hat. I'm like, this is so cute. And then I put it on and I'm like,
you're like, yeah, I don't like this.
This is not it. Yep. So yeah, we take the time to do that. And then we also have like feathers and gems. We always stitch everything in. We don't ever. The only thing we'll glue is sometimes we'll glue gems, but we'll glue it to the band because we don't ever want to glue anything to the hat. Okay. If you ever want to change the hat, that will ruin it. So yeah, we're like very anti-glue in that sense. And then we do the branding. So we have a bunch of stamps, symbols that are meaningful to people. And then we also do freehand designs. So a lot of times we'll like copy people's tattoos or like even, I don't know, like for weddings, if they have like a special symbol, we'll like hand draw that. And so it makes it really meaningful.
Totally.
You know? Yeah.
That is so cool. And I mean, it should be like that. It should be such a custom experience because it can be a very intimate thing and you want them to wear it all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And then a lot of my customers say that it's like, oh, I just get stopped. And then it's a conversation starter. Yeah. Because people are like, well, what is that? What does that flower mean? And or like what, just like certain little things about it. And yeah, which I love. Special. But was there any like gap in the market that you saw when you were going into this? Like, oh, I wish it existed this way, or that you wanted to fill with gem?
Yeah, I think the comfort thing is huge. Like that I had never seen before, and it's still very rare.
I haven't either.
Yeah. And I think it's like it makes a very big difference. The other thing is the price point. So we use wool felt as our premium material, and then we have like the Panama straws are our premium straws, and then we have our suede and palm options. So there's like 4 different material options. Okay. We don't use rabbit or beaver. Okay. That is one because the main reason is because they're not like super sustainably sourced. Oh, okay. But the other reason is because they are very, very expensive. Just the cape line, which is the start of the hat itself. And so when you look at like all these other custom hat experiences, a lot of times it's like $1,000.
Totally. It's overwhelming.
And I really wanted to be able to provide an option that was still really high quality, but where you could still design and have that experience, but not pay $1,000.
Totally.
Yeah. And so our pricing ranges from $175 to $250, depending on the material you use. And that includes all of your design products.
Wow.
So like, that's another thing is a lot of times it's like, oh, well, you want this piece of silk? Like that'll be an extra $30. Right. And all of that. And we like work really hard to curate the upcycled materials. So then there's no limit to your creativity when you're designing and building like something that represents you.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that is a huge gap though.
Yeah.
Like that didn't really exist before. Yeah. At least not that I've seen.
Yeah. No, it's still
so I'm sure that's why it's succeeded, in this way. is because you're providing something that doesn't exist that everyone wants and wishes did.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
It's definitely is working. It's great. Yeah. And we still have people that come in and are like, well, how much is that? And how much is it if I get the branding? And how much is it? And I'm like, it's still included.
Yeah. And they're like, what?
Yeah. People are like, what do you mean?
Are you sure?
Yeah. But it also just like makes it more special, like, and makes it more fun for our team, and to be able to like really like connect with that person and learn about what they're, what they're looking for. And yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Would you say that's your favorite part, is like the connecting with people as you're doing it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like we're never making the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So I don't get bored with like.
How could you?
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite thing is like when it's a sentimental item. Like we'll do like bridal hats.
Oh, cool.
And people will bring in like lace from their mom's wedding gown that they'll incorporate into their hat band or things like that. Like really make me happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
what do you think's next for you? What are you working on? I know you're doing a lot of events and pop-ups and stuff right now.
Yeah.
Kind of focusing on that.
Definitely building the offsite side, which is great.
Because you started there and then veered away from it. Now you're kind of coming back to it, right?
Yep. So once we launched the brick and mortar store, I was like, we cannot do both.
Yeah. And I'm sure you also didn't have any time to do both. Or like the resources, you're like, I can fill this store too.
Yeah. And like needed to have my team trained and like, just continue to have the store open.
Totally.
And
I'm sure that was overwhelming as it is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So now we have most of my team has been there for a year now, which is awesome. And yeah, so we're back onto the offsite. So we're doing lots of corporate events.
Okay.
We just did a big philanthropic event in the mountains.
Oh, cool.
And then weddings. Wedding season is huge.
Are weddings big for you?
They are, yeah.
I'm sure that's very word of mouth.
Yes.
Like someone sees you at another wedding and they're like, I want you at mine.
Yes, for sure. So those are really fun. And apart from that, on the personal side, I have the full-time manager starting in May because I am currently pregnant.
Yes, you are. Which is so exciting.
So I'm due September 5th. And
is that a Virgo baby?
It is.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a Virgo.
Yeah.
September 20th.
Okay. Yeah. I'm September 27th.
Oh, okay.
But I'm a Libra.
Oh, yeah. It's the cusp.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You're the cusp, right? Or am I the cusp?
I think, so I'm a Virgo. I think Libra is like 22 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's close because my brother's the 28th.
So maybe we're both the cusp.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, baby's on the way. Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping to have, to be able to spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
And, focus on taking care of myself come this summer. And I mean, focusing on it now, but having more time for myself and my growing body.
Uh-huh. No, absolutely.
And then for the baby, of course, once he's here. So growing my team a little bit more and
growing yourself a little bit more.
It's a lot of growth.
Everywhere.
So it's a lot of exciting things. And then I think further down the road, coming like early next year is maybe when we'll start looking at potentially opening another site.
Really?
And,
Oh, it's somewhere else, do you think, or somewhere locally still?
That's been the question. We've been thinking about it. I know. It's the mountains have always been like, that would be so much fun.
Do you spend a lot of time in the mountains?
I do, yeah. I love to ski. Obviously, I haven't done it this season, but
yeah,
I did once.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
oh no.
Yeah.
A lot riding on this.
But I love the mountains. And my partner does too. It's a special place.
It is. And I feel like for me, that's where I get a lot of inspiration,
so
from nature and just touching grass and stuff. I'm like, I need this.
No, it's
bad.
I just look at the rivers and I'm like, I need to be in that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm the exact same way.
Yep.
200%.
Yeah.
And with your baby on the way too, how are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you nervous? Because it's a huge change too. I'm sure Bree, we talked about that a lot when she was on the podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of refining your identity and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And being a working mom and.
Yeah. The whole not having maternity leave.
Yeah, totally.
It'll be me paying myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I was really stressed about that right when I first found out. I think that it's part of the beauty of it too, is you figure out ways to make it work. And then you also get to have that time with your child and you're not on anybody else's timeline. And if I want to go back and I feel good, a random day in October, I will. And if I don't want to do that until January, I will.
Right.
And you kind of figure it out and make it work in that way. So
I
I'm
think
really
that's
excited
good to stay like open like that to like how you're going to feel. Because you have no idea how you're going to feel until it comes, you know? And just like rolling with that and giving yourself the space to work. I mean, it's like we were talking about with our cycles too. You know, like just cluing into that and allowing your body and your mind to kind of like lead the way and not forcing things as much. Yeah.
It is a definite, I don't know, privilege to be able to, to go about it that way. And, you know, not every day I'm not going to lie and say like every day I feel like it's all going to work out. There's going to be days where I'm like, oh no, what did I do?
Right.
But that's okay. Because the better days it's like more of the first type of days. That makes sense.
And I mean, it is a privilege, but you've also created that privilege for yourself. Like you have built this. This isn't just like something that you've fallen into. You've worked really hard for this. Yeah. So that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
And no, I can see it. And again, I'm excited to come and see your store and to experience it myself. Is there any other advice you have for anyone listening? Like wanting to start their own business or that they have a creative side hustle or something that they want to try?
Yeah.
Taking that leap?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is like to listen to your self-doubt. I mean, I think that like the imposter syndrome thing is so real. And
real.
I fought that for a while.
I still fight that.
Yeah.
All the time.
Of course. Yeah.
It's like a constant battle.
Always. Yeah. It's a never ending battle. But I do think like getting to the point where like, I mean, when I first told, you know, the like investors and like tech people that I was working with, like I'm gonna leave this job and go start a hat company.
Yeah.
Like or
the
even
eyes were bulging out of their heads.
So even like my dad and his friends, it was like, what?
Yeah.
Like this is not that's not like a job.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's not real.
Yeah. And there was just like I mean, and I think that I internalized a lot of that as well. You know? And there's just so much of it that's like, you know, if you really want to do it and you figure out a way to make it work financially, and that's a huge part.
Yeah. Oh my God. It is.
Huge part. But like, that's why I hustled for so many years on the, like, and did it on the side and everything. So I think like, obviously taking the jump, but also like being
a calculated jump. Maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That would be my advice. And just like, don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. It's like, if it's what you love, if it's, you know, if it's hats, if it's cheese, if it's, you know, like
whatever it is.
If you find what you love, then it, you know, it's the cliche of like, then it's really not work. But like it actually is like, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it is work. And there are times, of course, of stress and like doubt and the waves of, you know, the ups and downs that come and go. But at the end of the day, like you're building something that's yours.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I wake up every day excited.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah. You know, there's some days, like you said, it's not always perfect. Yeah. But overall, I wake up every day and I'm amped about my coffee because I love coffee. Yep. And I'm amped about like what I'm going to do that day because it's always different.
Yep.
And it's mine.
Always.
And you're getting to build something that's yours. Well, that's incredible. And it's so cool getting to meet you and hear your story. And I'm so excited for all the things to come. And I've also been so selfishly excited because since I'm moving back to Denver, like now I'm going to claim you as my friend and I'm going to make you hang out with me whenever I move back, which will be great.
I'm so excited.
But where can everyone find you, both like in person, in town, and how can they make appointments and on socials and everything?
Our location is at 32nd and Tejon.
Yep.
So we're right across the street from Occidental.
Great location. Oh my God.
It's so nice.
Like prime.
Yes, it is. We love our space. It's like a speakeasy. I don't know. We also treehouse. Like it's like very like there's so much light and it's a very happy place.
Yeah.
So come and see us. We're open Wednesday to Sunday from 12 to 6. And then you can make an appointment for the custom hat bar. You can make that online on our socials. Our socials are gem_hats. And our website is gemhats.com.
Perfect.
And you can make appointments in all of those places. And we also take walk-ins. So
love it. And where can everyone find you?
Find me.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Caroline Hafele, which is Hafele.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to spell that out.
I'm like,
when I was reading your name, I was like, I'm gonna have to ask her how she pronounces that because I have no
it's
idea.
a tough one.
Yeah. Hafele?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Find me there. And
amazing.
I live in Sunnyside, so I'm always in the Sunnyside, the Highlands, Lowhigh area. Find me at Berkeley Dog Park pretty much every day. Yeah.
Well,
me and Larry.
Thank you. Yeah.
We haven't talked about Larry, but
who's Larry?
My puppy. My dog. He's
what kind of
almost
dog
4,
do you have?
but he's an Aussie Doodle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you gotta meet him.
I wish he was here.
I almost brought them.
You totally should have.
I should have. I almost texted you and I was like, okay, Caroline, you don't have to bring Larry everywhere.
You had him right here. I'm obsessed with
He
dogs.
would be right here.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, well, now I'm mad. You should have brought him.
Yeah, my bad.
Next time.
Yes.
Next time. I'll come meet him.
Yes, you'll get to know him. He's a sweet boy.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is so fun.
I appreciate it. I'm so happy to meet you. And all the things.
And I'm so happy you've reconnected us.
Me too.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and tune in next week. See ya. All right, you guys, and that is a wrap on this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard and want to leave us a little like, rating, or review, you can do so by subscribing and just showing us some love anywhere you listen. We post every single Thursday on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and whatever other platforms there are. So you can watch us, or you can listen to us, or you can do both, whichever you want. You can follow us on Instagram at Raw Intentions Podcast. Feel free to slide into my DMs literally anytime. I'm always open and happy to hear from you guys. And that's all I got. So if you're new here, I hope you stick around and have a fabulous weekend. I will talk to y'all next Thursday. See ya.